All right, once again, welcome back to another episode of our podcast, the For Real Podcast. I am your co-host, Mr. Willis, aka Mr. Willis Cozit. I do have Mr. Money Blunt.
Money sold it.
I do have Miss Sheridan McCorkle. And today we do have two special guests from the New Wall Street. New Wall Street.
Yeah, new.
Okay, Mr. Chris
Dunlap.
Mr. Rich.
Chungong.
There he is.
One point of clarification.
Go ahead.
He has his own joint.
Okay.
I'll
Speak on it.
just
Speak
bring
on
him
it.
around because
Speak on it.
he's the crypto guy, so I'll bring him around.
Okay, so you talking stocks is what we doing today, and he's
Right.
talking crypto.
Absolutely.
So we
Yeah.
merging it in. The reason why, because we, like I said, it's not just about home ownership and buying a house.
Right.
You know, we need to afford it, be able to get other assets, which is going to be our word of the day, assets, to be able to then not only afford property, but buy more property.
Right.
Wealth, generational wealth, and things of that. So definitely being able to touch in and tap into the crypto and also the stock market, easy ways to be able to do it if you know what you're doing. And that's why we want to also, like I said, bring these two gentlemen on
Right.
to be able to kind of expound on it, because for a lot of us, even me included, I don't have a clue about the stock market. I see it, I know there's a lot of wealth that's being changed every day on there. Billions and billions, trillions of dollars on the market. Trillions on the market. And so for us to be able to at least figure out how to get our little slice of the pie, like I said.
I don't want a slice.
I want the
Same.
pie.
I mean that's like I said, that's gonna be to each his own. For me, I'm cool with my little slice because my real estate gonna do its thing.
Will is
Everything
being
else-
humble because we on camera.
Hey man, no,
Right.
that is. I want to be rich. Don't get me wrong. I ain't saying I want to be just getting by, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't billions in the stock market. I mean, obviously, if that's the route God chose for me, thank you,
Amen.
thank you. I'll
Hello.
take it.
And
Hello.
rich is relative anyway.
Oh,
It is. It very much is.
Yep.
So,
It's gonna be a good.
That's what I learned in that
Yep.
book that you made us read, and I finished it, by the way,
what's the book?
in 3 days.
What's the book?
It's called "You Are a Badass: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness," and
Okay.
something else mixed into it. But it was a really good book.
Jen
Okay.
Sincero.
Jensen Sorrell.
Yes.
Got it.
Honestly, it's like the Bible, then that book for me.
Okay.
Man.
No, I'm serious. Like, yeah.
That's heavy.
I mean, I read all of the.
That's a powerful statement right there.
Man.
It's my favorite.
It's a
book.
really, really great book.
Yeah. I listen to it like 3 times a year.
Okay. Have to check that out then.
It's gonna come with heat today then.
Hmm?
It says coming with some heat today then.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, y'all might read it and be like, "Oh, that's what this and that say," but I
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, you might read it and be like, "This was what they was going on about this book for."
I mean, but everything, is perspective for
Right.
everybody. Some
Absolutely.
people, it hits you different when you read certain things.
Yep.
So, I mean, Mr. Money, I'm going to start with you. Obviously, we do a little touch-up because we don't get together like every week and kind of see what's going on. But business-wise, I've been seeing you on social media a lot more active, a lot more in your
trying.
bag. There's, y'all done had photo shoots and everything going on with the team. So, what's going on?
A little bit of everything. So right now, we're still focusing on buyers, but for the most part, trying to get listings because I don't know. I just have a love in my heart for listings. Maybe it's because that was my first deal, but I just feel like it's way easier than dealing with buyers. But I am still dealing with buyers. I just got one of my buyer clients pre-approved finally after
Hey.
30 years of underwriting. I thought they was gonna ask for his. I thought they was gonna ask for his medical records next, but we finally got there, and now we're about to schedule our consultation so that we can start looking.
Nice. Miss Sheridan, broker.
Yeah.
Yeah, team lead.
Team lead,
Yeah,
yes,
just-
the best.
I see. I be
Trying to grow
watching.
the
Like I said,
team.
I'm watching behind the scenes. I see
Yeah.
everything that go on. I see that y'all looking good in y'all cream and browns and everything.
Rich energy.
Hey.
You know,
Somebody was like, "How did y'all wear the same color?" I was like, "We coordinated."
Yeah,
I'm
well,
about
I
to
mean,
say,
we
that's-
just attracting greatness. No, it's been fun trying to grow. It's growing pains for me as a team leader, seeing where it's like they just on the cusp. Like you are so close, just stay consistent. So it's a new territory for me too, trying to balance. Having a personal life, trying to be a soft life person, being a team leader, and also selling. So it's been fun, but. Imani's doing amazing. She called me with her questions, and all the other team members are killing it too.
Nice. What do you? What?
So you might
So
see me out
obviously,
there.
besides just the team, business wise, what are you working on? Buyers, sellers.
A little of both. I got 3 Well, one just went under today, but 3
Congrats,
listings,
congrats.
investment properties. Thank you. Been working on all 3 of those for like a year. But got some buyers closing next week. We should have an episode on Berry Rock. One of them's a
Very
Berry
Rock
Rock
Homes.
program.
Yeah,
so.
I almost used that when I was going through the situation when I was buying my house because I was having to. I was really up against the gun, and I'm like, I don't want to lose my house.
Right.
I was like, but underwriting is taking forever. This whole process is taking forever. So I was like, I need, something, and I almost did it.
And they don't have a minimum amount of time you have to rent. So.
Yeah. So I'm like, if anything, and they'll just let you buy it back from them.
Right.
So I'm like, at this point, I'll pay a little premium if I had to, because I knew the value of the house that I was
Right.
buying. So I was like, it's in there where I could still be able to get it back from 'em and still make some money on it. So,
Yeah.
God is good on that.
Amen.
All the time.
So, for me personally, it's the busy season. I closed out last month with just about $1 million in sales last month. I have over $1 million closing this month. We already got 3 deals to close in July. So we moving, like I tell people, it's the busy season.
Yeah.
In that regards here. So I'm out here every day. I got people pre-approved. Actually, right before we started recording, I had somebody reach out. Hey, I got your number from this person here.
That's what's up.
I met a couple people, 2 weeks ago. And they were like, hey, I wanted to see if I could get approved, buy a house. This person referred me. Within a week, they were under contract to buy a house. So,
Ooh,
Yeah.
a week?
yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm
Talk
not
that talk.
trying to show you 30 houses.
I like
I'm
how-
like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I'm not trying to show you 30 houses driving all over the city.
Listen,
You tell me
that's,
what you
that's
want.
the number one thing I focus on. I'll be like, our search is going to be what I call intentional.
Yeah, like, you're not
Without
about to go
saying,
see a bunch of random places.
We're not seeing nothing for fun.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not showing you anything outside of your price range. So everything we see, we can afford.
Right.
In that regards here. And then when I sit down and I do that conversation or I'm on the phone, I'm asking these questions because I'm already tailoring my search.
Right.
And one thing, I kind of do for me is I try to ask people and see stuff that I would actually buy.
Right.
I'm not sending you to no shithole.
Exactly.
I'm not sending you to something just so I can make a commission.
Right.
Because for me, like all of us, this is a lifelong, kind of relationship I'm building with this person. And if
I let them go to. I'm not saying let, but I let them go to 2 messed up houses, and then I'll be like, you see, in the picture, these are the things you want to look out for, because sometimes they just don't get it till they get there. You know. So after that, then they be like, okay, and then I think it kind of builds trust for them to kind of follow your advice
Gotta treat them like babies, kind of.
a little bit.
Yep.
It's a learning curve when it comes to buying a house.
Yeah,
It is.
for me, the first thing I do with people, I ask them, like, have you seen what your money gets you?
Mm-hmm.
Because for a lot of people, they don't understand what their money gets them in this market. Yeah, I want to spend $150,000 and get a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, fully renovated house in Lee Summit that's 3,000 square feet. That ain't happening unless I'm coming with a 4 in front of it.
I mean,
It's 400,000
or if it was
plus.
1992.
Yeah, exactly. So
Boy.
I try to tell people, I'm like, have you seen what your money gets you? Because a lot of people don't understand that.
Right.
And so, like you said, being intentional when we go see houses, I'm not here to bullshit. I got 2 kids and a wife. I could be at home with them. If I'm here to help you out to see houses, it's because I'm serious about what we're doing.
Right.
So I'm only taking you to houses I know that 1, you can afford, 2, that is going to be what you told me that you want. Now, when you get there, obviously pictures sometimes is why they pay photographers good money, because pictures are sometimes deceiving. So, most times, honestly.
Right, I was
know,
gonna-
most times. And I was trying to be real humble on there, but
Right,
most
right,
times
right.
these pictures be bullshit. And so they see it and they be like, okay, like now.
I might have to raise my
yeah,
budget.
yeah, let's raise it up. And it's not like you can't afford it, because you were approved for a certain amount.
I'm like, the way I look at it is $20, $30 more on your monthly payment for a home that is nice.
Yeah, like if we spend
Or-
$10,000 more on the purchase price, that'll save you so much more money in repairs.
Man.
In that regard, that's probably going to be in a little bit better area that's going to appreciate a little bit more. So you understand those things. Spending a little bit more money is not I'm trying to make more in commission, because truth be told, the extra $10,000 is only maybe $200, $300 in commission. So I'm not making a lot more money by selling you more expensive house.
Right.
I'm trying to find exactly what you told me that you want to buy in an area that you feel that you're comfortable with. Because I asked them too, I'm like, what are the areas you want to be in? Yeah, okay, you prove for 150 you want to be in Lee Summit. It's probably not going to happen. Blue Springs is a long shot, but we can definitely find some good areas, maybe in Raytown, Independence,
Right.
and, we'll get lucky in some places like that, Belton and Grandview, that might have something like that. But understanding, like, I'm not just pushing you in a direction to just be buying something, just be buying it. Like, no, I'm being very intentional, as, Sheridan says. So, that's kind of what's going on there. Like I said, I got some listings that are live right now. Buyers, getting them under contract, trying to keep selling them, and, get ready for, try to take some vacations towards the end of the year, man. And, like, we work so hard throughout the first part of the year. When it gets to the slow season, I'm
Man.
trying to be gone. Like, I'm like, it's slow here, I'm out.
I was going to say, I have kind of shifted in my business. I have not been focusing on buyers as hard as I had been. So it hasn't been as fast for me or busy as years before because I just don't want to no more. You know, I've really been hitting my farms hard, and I think it's going to be something that even though it's a long game, it's going to pay off, and you're going to be like, Sheridan
Planting
is
seeds.
a listing agent versus a
Planting
buyer.
seeds.
Yes.
That's all you
Yeah,
doing is planting
exactly.
seeds.
And so I'm like, I'm cool with it because God got me. I got money put away. I'm good.
Ooh, you got
know.
money?
I know that's
Hey,
But I'm
Shorty
saying
got
I
money.
prepared
So which
for
one of
the
y'all the
shift in
Sheen
my
card
business.
on?
It ain't on me. I'm
It's
broke.
on Willis.
I tell people
And
I'm broke.
I could call
I'm broke.
Willis or my friends here.
Yeah,
and borrow a
you know.
couple
Yeah,
thousand.
yeah, we're gonna get into it. So
I got some coupons and brought the price down to like
Let me know.
As long as the
$3.59.
ROI makes sense.
and that's a return on investment for everybody that don't know.
Man.
So, like I said, we mentioned our word of the day is going to be asset. You know, and as the dictionary puts it on here, in terms of real estate, is property owned as a person or company regarded as having value or available to meet debts, commitments, and legacies. So, an asset, and there are different type of assets, like tangible assets, things you can touch and feel. You know, like real estate is a tangible asset. There are other assets in terms of like the stock market and things you can't actually physically touch. You know, but it is an asset that is going to be able to help make money and, like I said, grow that portfolio that it helps you set up that retirement plan, that wealth, you know, building and things like that. So, you know, like I said, getting into it with Chris, I actually knew Chris first before I knew Rich.
Yeah.
Chris, you know, low key was a, you know, silent investor in a couple of my real estate deals that
I
we
don't know
did.
nothing about that.
Hey man, I'm
He
gonna
said
put
I
him on
was
blast.
super
Nothing about
silent.
that.
Hey, I'm gonna put him on blast. I'm not gonna say which ones, but
invisible
definitely, you
investor.
know, Chris came through in the clutch on a couple times, you know, and we were able to make some good money on those deals in that regards. And we're still looking, you know, we're always if the deal makes sense, Chris will write the check, you know, in a certain.
If the ROI makes
Hey,
sense.
if that return on investment is there, Chris is like, all right, let's do it.
let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. That's always his go-to. Let's do it. You know, in that regards. So I'm always appreciative of him. You know, met him through a mutual investor, partner of ours, and like I said, then you know I kind of understood who he was and what he actually does, and you know how he plays around. And I see him on social media, you know, dropping gems, you know, about different stocks and tips and things like that. And I'm telling you, my biggest beef with him is that I've told him for years, I want him to be my money manager. I just want to send him some money, do your thing.
That's my whole thing.
So like a financial advisor almost.
Not even a financial advisor, just a money manager in the stock market. And just let me
It's a money
send you
machine.
money.
Ain't that what they do?
That's what everybody wants, a money machine.
Yeah, I mean, just do your thing. If I send you some money, just make me money.
Man.
I don't care how you do it, just do it.
That's you and about 1,000 other people.
Yeah, okay, but they ain't me. They ain't me.
1,000 other people time. If the ROI got to make sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm
ROI
saying.
gotta make sense.
But so for you, you know, like I said, I've seen you for you know years now. We've been knowing each other in that regards here. So stocks and everything. Why is that the passion behind what you're doing and things like that now? Because I know you still work a regular job, like a 9 to 5, in that regards here. But you also play heavy in the stock market.
Yeah.
You know.
Why is it a passion? For me, right? You think about the stock market, and I think it's one of the quickest paths for people to gain wealth, right? Without having to jump through a lot of hurdles. It doesn't matter your race or even your level of education, right? I don't have to go get pre-approved for a loan to get into the stock market. I could just do my research, find a company that's a strong company that may be on sale right now and just purchase that company, right? And then let the time that it takes to rebound and make my money right then and there. And to your point, I do dabble in real estate. But for me, the stock market, I feel like when it comes to making money fast, right, I can make real estate money in a matter of hours in the stock market if you time a play right. So
You be posting about it. I be looking at the returns, and
Cooking.
I'm like, hey.
so that's the
I'll
thing
text
for
you.
me.
I'm like, hey, you could have let me know that. You know, I could have sent you a couple thousand. We could have made money together.
But that's the thing for me, right? I just feel like if people take the time to learn it, it's a printing machine. It is really a money printer. Because
I
like
mean,
said,
can't you at
trillions of
least do
dollars.
like a text blast and tell people, and you just got to subscribe
See,
to
he
be on the
has-
text
he has-
blast?
So
he has something.
if you go to nwallstreet.com,
Okay.
you can actually
Good plug, good
purchase.
plug.
It'll
And
be
it gives
below.
you access to my Discord group where we do that every single morning. I drop about 10 plays in the morning of, hey, this is the stocks I'm looking at. Here's why. We do some live charting before the market opens, and people get in and get plays, and that's what we do every single day.
So do they cash that out? Like say you send that out, they put $500 in there,
Yep.
and then that day they make $200. Do they just take that $200 back out and keep it for themselves, or do they just keep it invested into that?
Everybody's different,
Okay.
right? So what I tell people is, like, for this will be your account that you're building, right? This is going to be your nest egg account. So if you put in $500, you make $200 that day. The next day, now you can put in maybe $600 and make $300, and just keep building your account up until you get to a point where you feel comfortable to say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cash this out. Or you may want to just cash it out and put it into the shares of those stocks,
Right.
because some stocks pay dividends. So now
Yes.
just for holding a share of that stock, I'm getting paid, every 3 months a quarterly dividend for doing nothing. That's mailbox money.
I'm
Right.
gonna stop you right there because I want because some of these people that are watching are not gonna understand what
Right.
you said. Okay,
I
so
know
a
I'm up here
dividend.
trying to be like,
So a dividend. Explain what a dividend is.
Yeah, so companies pay dividends based on the performance that they've done over the last quarter. And if they had a great quarter, they decide what percentage for you holding a stock are we going to pay back of our profits to you as a shareholder, because you holding my stock makes my stock valuable. You buying my stock makes my stock valuable. So what I'll do is, based on my profits, I'm going to pay this back out to my shareholders. So for you holding that, you're going to get a return on your money just for holding the stock. And stocks do this, right? So if you got a strong stock, they're going up. So you're getting the value of the asset increasing in value, plus with the profits, they're paying you out every quarter.
So you're making money on top of money.
Money on top of money.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett style.
I mean, it's that's why I try to get him to be my money manager. I'm trying to tell you.
But
I
that's
just got me some dividends. It was only like 70 cents, but
still.
Hey, it feel good though. It feel good
it
though.
was more than
For
nothing.
doing nothing, for just being alive, seeing the next day. That's it.
And so here's the key with dividends. So for me, on my long-term plays, it's called DRIP, dividend reinvestment, right? So once it pays out your dividend, I don't touch that money.
Put it back
I'll
into
make it automatically buy me more shares of that stock. So the
Yep.
next dividend check is going to be even bigger. Just let it keep snowballing for me. So that's the real play. The end goal is just to get to the point where you live off your dividends.
Okay.
So somebody like that's a new investor that's watching this is like, I don't know what stocks to buy.
Right.
I don't know where to start because that's always been my biggest thing. One, I can't read a chart, and I know that you be putting charts up. I don't know what that stuff means. All I see is squiggly lines going up and down. I don't know what none of that stuff means. When to get in, when to get out. That's always my biggest issue is I don't know when to get out. That was with my thing with crypto.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that, it's so volatile versus stocks. Stocks, I feel like, is a little bit safer than crypto. But
Unless it's GameStop.
hey man, I know some people that
AMC.
made a lot of money off of both of them.
Because they knew when to get out.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
But like me, I would have just kept riding. Like, how high can it go?
That's the
That'd
problem.
be me on
Hopium.
TikTok.
And I mean, explain what hopium is because I got a lot of that.
Yeah. Hopium is like, it went up this high, it could keep going. So we just got this, it's like the gambler's mentality.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
it's
that's
like
me.
gold.
That's
Yeah.
me.
So you can't be a gambler in the stock market, right? You got to know when to get out. It's just like the housing market, right? You knew when the market was at its top.
Yeah.
And people like, no, it's going to go up more. I'm going to hold my house even longer. And then it
And
starts
then
trending back down. You're like, dang, I missed out on 100 bands because I didn't sell. It's no different. You were probably telling them like, hey, we topping out right now. It's going to get softer. Buy. That's the thing. People have hopium, but you need to know when do I get in and get out. Of
So
these
how do
products.
they start?
That's a good way to say it. Is you can't have a gambler's mentality.
Can't.
'Cause I do.
going into it as someone who don't know, I have always felt like I just feel like that's gambling. And I know that you can make a lot of money, but when you don't know what you're doing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So where do you start? Like, how do you start to understand the stock market? Because it does feel like it's a million stocks out there. Like, how do
Absolutely.
I even start to find out which ones could even make moves and this and that? Like,
Yeah.
how do you even begin to process that stuff?
That's a good question. Well, outside of going to nwallstreet.com
Good plug.
and learning from me and the guys, go best of breed, right? You know what companies are the companies that are out there killing the game, right? When you think about a different segment, when you look at the technology segment, you got your Apple, you got your Microsoft, you got your Amazons. We know those are
Blue
best
chip.
of breeds, right? When you look at auto manufacturers, you got your Tesla. They're killing the game. They have 65% of the EV space, and that's where the world's going to.
And GM just had to bow down to
You
him.
got about that, right? So you look at
So
the
that solar
companies.
flare hit next year.
That's a bigger
If
problem.
that
than
happened,
anything else.
we got bigger fish to fry. So you just look at best of breed first. What are it's like if you're putting together a pickup ball team, right? You know who the hoopers are. If you got the first pick, I'm getting that guy because he's a hooper. I'm getting that guy because he's a hooper too. It's no different with stocks. You want to get best of breed and you start there.
Okay.
Right? That's the easiest way to do it. Or if you don't want to pick individual stocks, just get you something like a ETF that gives you a basket of the stocks.
part.
Now, You're gonna have to break that
Yeah.
down for the people that's
Yeah.
watching.
ETF dividend.
Like I mean, because some
Speaking
people,
that-
it's
yeah,
like
Matrix
for
talk,
you,
man.
it's second nature
Yeah.
talking stocks. So it's just like that.
Yeah.
But we want to also educate people that are watching and
ETF.
understand what does ETF
An
mean.
ETF is an exchange traded fund. So it's a fund that's exchanged, it's traded on the stock exchange, right? And what it does for people that say, I don't have the time, like yourself, right? You say, I don't have the time or the energy to learn about these individual stocks. Well, what that does is give you exposure to the entire market or a segment of the market. So they have ETFs for healthcare. They have ETFs for retail. They have ETFs that give you technology. So you decide what segment of the market that you want a basket of stocks for, right? Or just the whole market. And the thing with the ETFs is when stocks are underperforming for a certain amount of time, they get rotated out. So they do the work for you.
So what's a REIT?
A REIT is a real estate investment trust. So
Can it be an ETF?
yeah, this is a form of an ETF.
Okay.
So what REIT does, they're ETFs that invest in real estate, like properties, right? Like
Okay.
where there's like experiential properties like Top Golfs or like these buildings here. And the good thing about REITs, if they're a strong one like Simon Property Group and some of those, the good thing about them is that by law, they have to pay back like up to 90% of their profits in dividends. So a lot of times,
That's where I've been trying to figure out how do I get into that. Like, can
Yeah.
I do that on my Robinhood?
yeah, absolutely. You could buy your
Okay.
REITs on Robinhood. You could buy your REITs on any of those platforms, right? But once you get heavy in the game, I will move to like a TD Ameritrade or a Fidelity or something like that. It's a little more established in the Robinhood to hold your stuff there. But yeah, REITs are a good source because they pay typically higher dividends than most stocks. But you don't want to go dividend chasing, right? I tell people this all the time. They be
I'm
like,
about to say because that's what I'm hearing is go look for the ones with dividends,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm gonna invest in.
absolutely. Only stock that I hold that doesn't pay a dividend is Tesla, just because it performs so crazy. Everything else pays
Yeah,
dividends.
I mean, Tesla is fine.
Yeah, but I don't go dividend chasing because, yeah, you may have a company that pays you 11% in dividends, but they're losing 18% year over year.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. You're still going to be losing. So you want to find a company that has a solid dividend, about 4 to 5% or something like that, which is super solid, but they're also performing year over year. So you're getting that 4 to 5% paid out to you, and they're growing 20 to 30% year over year. That's what you want to look for.
An example. Give me an example of a company like that you have been following that within that trend. Just to throw a little nugget out to them. What's one of those?
Yeah, so I would say Occidental's one, right? They're an oil company that's pretty strong. Even the VOO or the VTI, which are the Vanguards, right? They pay like 3%, anywhere from like 2.6 to 3.9. It fluctuates, but they also grow, 10 to 15% year over year, right? And so when you think about another reason why I like the stock market, we go back to the 1700s, and it's been proven.
I remember I was in your last class. You did
Yeah.
a seminar, and I showed up.
Yeah, so we're talking about 300 years of consistent growth, 10% year over year. So when you think about something that's almost foolproof, right, it doesn't get any better than the stock market. We have dips and everything, but when you think about the COVID dip and what we went over the last year, now the market's back up over 20% over its lows, right? So we're back in the bull market now. So for the patient person that can withstand those type of things, and you look at the statistics that show when the market's down one year, the next year it roars back and goes above the down or the the baseline about 30%. You just stay patient.
You see, I don't have that
I have a
patience though,
question.
because as soon
You
as I
do.
see it go down, I'm
be
ready
wanting
to
to take
sell and I'm gone. Like I don't know, like I don't like seeing my money lose, like because like I said, it's not a tangible asset. It's not something I can touch. So when I see that number start going down, and I say, okay, I'm losing money.
But you might
I'm
log back in the
I
next
wanna
day
stop
and it
the
might be
bleeding.
back up.
That's how I feel. Like I was like, let me stop the bleeding, just take my money out, and I'll go find
Yeah.
something else.
That's why you choose best of breed. You do look backs, right? 5-10 year look backs to see how they perform historically. How do they rebound once they go down? And if you know, like Apple's been around, 30, 40 years, and they're always going to rebound and come out and innovate, you don't worry about that type of stuff, right? These are things that we're trying to build portfolios for retirement and for the next generation. So we're not delayed gratification. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to when you think about your portfolio, you're not doing it to get money here every single day. Now you can day trade, and that's a different story.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
But when you're building out your portfolio, you don't worry about that. You go into this thinking this is going to be something I'm going to hold for about 5 to 10 years, like a house, right? So you can get your appreciation in your home. Same way with the stock market.
Gotcha,
Let me
gotcha.
ask you a quick question.
Absolutely.
So I have, and the other day I was like, I think I should take this out, but I don't know. Anyway, I have Amazon and Google set up to come out like every week, like $10, $50, whatever. One I had set up twice, I didn't even know. And I'm just like, should I even be having it come out that often? Because it looked like overall only made $600, and it's been set up like that since 2021.
So again, we went through a downturn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once those companies really start to rebound, which they've been doing this year, right? I think Amazon's up 47% this year,
Okay.
right? You definitely want to do that. I think you mentioned earlier about consistency, right? And that's what it is. The market is set up to reward the consistent investor.
Okay.
So that person like yourself who's doing this every single month, now when these companies shake off all this stuff that we've been dealing with and they get back to baseline, like Amazon and Google typically return like 30 to 40% year over year. So you're talking about something that you're not even really working for, and you're getting 30, 40% returns. So
It's kind of just been like out of sight, out of mind, basically.
keep
A
it.
savings account that essentially I don't look at, and I'm like, I really need to talk with somebody to see, should I move this? Like,
Keep it.
I don't know what to do.
Keep it going.
I have a
Because your
question.
savings account isn't going to give you that.
That's true.
You got a question, Money?
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is about a specific stock.
Okay.
Because I don't know too much about stocks, but I try to educate myself a little bit, and I do have, a little bit put aside into the stock market. How do you feel about Meta? Because from what I've seen, I know that it's not a stock that has, I think, like where you can look back 30 years to see, because I don't think it's that old. But if you look at like the what they do have,
Yeah.
it goes up. Like it
Absolutely.
went down at one point, but it's been going up. I think it has like a really high return rate just for the past 6 months. So do you think with that going up so quickly, like so much so fast, that it's a dangerous stock to invest in, or do you maybe recommend that?
No, it's about 10 years old, right? It's a little over 10
Yeah,
10
yeah.
years
So
old.
it's not like 30 years, but if you look back to 10 years, all of the 1 year, 5 years, they have really good return rates.
No, it's an innovative company, right? It's not
Right.
just Facebook and what we see,
Yeah.
and they continue to innovate. He got through the whole thing with the lawsuits and the government coming after him. Like that right there tells you, like, okay, this is somebody that's going to persevere
Yeah.
through
Right.
this type of stuff.
Okay.
And they did go through a dip, but since that dip, they're up. I think this year up like over 104%.
Hell, selling
Again.
them blue checks.
Yeah,
Right.
that too.
Yeah.
But again, when you look at companies like that go through the storm and make it out on the other side, you're good. I think
Shoot,
they're good.
another thing I would
That-
say even too is with Meta is that Apple just came out with their whole headset,
Yeah.
I just seen that.
3,500.
Yeah, I seen that.
The most affordable VR set on the market is going to be
Meta, yeah.
Facebook. So when everybody's asking for VR headsets
Right.
come holiday time and you bought it at a low, that's when they're going to start performing well. So
So about some
it's
more.
things like that, like like I said, Chris be updating on those things, especially as well too. But it's just those little background things that if you pay attention to Apple, people are like, oh yeah, Apple's so great right now, but who's gonna pay $3,500 for Oculus
Right.
when I can get it for $300-400
Exactly.
to do basically the same thing? So
Yeah.
it's
So,
little things like that. So I think they'll do well.
One more thing to Meta. The thing with Meta too is that they bully the competition. Anybody that comes out and tries to compete with them, all they do is say, okay, we're just going to create that feature and plug it in, right? People are not leaving our platform. We're
Right.
going
Right.
between Instagram and Facebook every single day, right? Anytime you try to do anything else, Snap came out. What did they do? Now we got stories that could disappear and do all the same thing, right?
Right.
We had Vine. Well, now we got the Instagram Reels. Like they bully the competition. So anytime somebody comes out and it takes off, all they're going to do is say, cool, we're
Implement
gonna
the same
turn this
feature.
feature on because we got the deep pockets.
I
We can
can't
do that.
Yeah.
because I'm not taking all them pictures off.
That
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
had to make sure because right now my investment, like research, only goes about as far as TikTok and hoping that they know what they talking about.
Yeah, Meta tough. Yeah, I wouldn't touch TikTok's company. That ByteDance, I wouldn't fool with it.
I don't know, but they have got me some good, like what you say, QQQ. I think I'm invested in
Fire.
that.
I
So
like
I'm
QQQ.
in some good stuff
Yeah.
from TikTok. I know I had to look
Oh,
around.
from the TikTok video. I thought you
Yeah,
TikTok
oh,
told
no,
me
no,
about
no,
it.
Yeah.
going on there for information to
Oh, yeah,
look
there's a lot of
for
people
good
that-
stocks and what other investors are maybe thinking about investing in. And
Absolutely.
basically just going off their research because I
love
don't
that.
want to do my
I
own.
like QQQ.
I saw today actually, and I was actually talking to my guy Sean, and I was telling him that I was having you on the show, and I was like, this dude, I was like, he's so fire with what he says. I'm like, I kind of just blindly kind of follow what Chris say because Chris is kind of like shooting like really tough in the gym. And I saw where you posted today a flashback, and you had put about 6 months about Netflix.
Yeah,
Because they had joined a feature with Nike,
Yeah.
or they did a deal with Nike to be able to promote on their platform or something like that. And you was like, if Netflix realizes how to monetize this correctly, This could be a game changer. And then you post it, and you posted that in December of 2022. And then you reposted it today on Netflix is about to hit $500 again. So it's rebounding. And then I was watching, I was like, Chris really predicted it 6 months ago. I was like the dude knows what he's talking about. Still won't be my money manager, but we're gonna keep working on that in that regards here. But like I said, I definitely appreciate because there's not a lot of people like us in that space. There are some people, like I said, I watch like Wall Street Trapper. I watch a lot of stuff that he does. Because I like people that look like me but also talk like me. Mm-hmm. And it's not like I'm talking to somebody that's Ivy League, NBA, where it's just all of them. I'm like, bro, I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, none of that stuff makes sense to me. It's like foreign language to me. But when you do speak on it, it's like you break it down into such a language where it's easy to digest. And I appreciate that, especially for the casual viewer, the casual person who you might not even know. Because like me, I screenshot a lot of your stats that you put in there, and I share it to a lot of my guys in our group chat. And I'm like, hey, my dude, like, talking this. And, like, some of the stuff, and we'll get on crypto in just a second because, hey, there's been a lot of up and down.
Hey, nah, we're gonna untime him. Like I said,
we're gonna talk about that in a second because
we're gonna get down to it.
Had me in the chokehold, especially with Doge.
I still remember I was in the
chokehold.
I still remember I was in the Dominican. You was saying, what was the thing that everybody was trying to get?
To the moon.
The Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
Yeah. You was like, hey, Sheridan. And I was just like, oh, shoot, my Wi-Fi ain't working.
Playing the gambling game. Everybody's playing the gambling game, man.
I made a lot of money off Doge. As soon as I seen it. Because people was like, it's never going to hit a quarter. And I was like, hit a quarter. I'm like, well, we're going to see. Never going to hit 50 cents. I'm like, well, we're going to see. I'm like, I'm already up because I got into it when it was a fraction of a penny.
Exactly.
So everything for me was just all profit at that point. I'm like, we're just going to ride this thing out.
Yep.
I'm like, if this thing hit $1 and what I bought in as many shares, I'm like, I might retire from real estate. I ain't going to lie to you. So when I seen it hit 75 cents, I think it hit 78, and then it dropped, and then people was like, it's about to drop, And I think Elon had went on Saturday Night Live.
Exactly. It's
and
not how
he
to play the
talked
game.
shit on it, and then it started going down. I said, time to sell. I sold everything. I got a real estate friend. I ain't going to blast him out on here. But he, at the time, he would have cashed out like $450,000 in Doge.
He didn't cash it out?
Didn't cash out. Still holding on to it today.
Hopium.
Yeah.
It's only, he said it's only worth like $22,000 now.
On,
I
man.
said, boy, I'll be sick. I'll be sick. I was like, because he got into it before I did.
It's almost similar to somebody holding on to like a lot of Bitcoin back way before it went up to the price that it was at.
Yep.
Was it like what,
60s.
60,000?
Yep.
And people was like, this ain't doing it. I'm about to sell this.
Or you could be the dude that sold 100,000 worth of Bitcoin to buy a pizza.
It's all about, like you said before, it's all about perspective, and
What?
Yeah, back before Bitcoin really took off. I forgot what pizza company it was.
I think it was like a
Pizza
little.
Hut.
Yeah, I think it was like little
He
local pizza
literally
hut.
bought a pizza with Bitcoin, but he spent 100,000 in Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's like 10,000 Bitcoin. They have like a whole national day now. It's like basically to commemorate the whole purpose of Bitcoin and the fact
Pizza
that
Day.
person bought a pizza with Bitcoin, and now 10,000 Bitcoin is essentially enough to more or less retire at this point.
Way
You
more.
know?
It's a few
you know what I mean? So it's like,
because if you think about it, a share of Bitcoin right now is what, right about
25.9 last time I checked.
Yeah.
25.9. So at 10,000 shares is what, 25 million?
yep,
So,
oh my God.
for a pizza.
so
That better be the
pizza.
best pizza I've ever had.
For a
And I was
pizza.
thinking about it because I heard about it when it had hit like 60,
Yeah.
60-something thousand. I'm like, that was $60 million pizza is what this dude's
Hey, like I said, man, and that's what, like I said, just having these conversations is very important because it's more than a gambling game. It's very, very efficient technology. It's the new advancement of internet and stuff like that. So us having these conversations, especially within our community, it's very important so that way we're not playing the gambling game. We're starting to build and things like that. That's what I focused on. So yeah, like I said, I'm definitely glad to have this conversation. And
Could at least been Sarpino.
you know, I mean, shoot, Sarpinos cost a Bitcoin nowadays. They
Let
they
me
expensive,
ask
boy.
this because
I got a
obviously.
Bitcoin story real quick.
Okay,
Hey, go ahead.
I wasted quite a bit of Bitcoin too.
Did you?
Because back in the day, like 2013, 2014, when you wanted to get like pirated software, like cracked software, like, hey, I want the new Adobe, but I don't want to pay $3,500 for it. The only way you can get it was Bitcoin. That was back when Silk Road was around.
Yep, it was a
So-
dark web, basically.
Yeah, so we used to buy knockoff software or cracked software with Bitcoin. But also, it was back when you had things like they called the Bitcoin faucets, where you could just go to websites and spin a wheel, and they give you free Bitcoin, right? Because nobody knew what it was. So you were getting a lot of free Bitcoin, but you were also kind of burning through this type of stuff. Now, I didn't have 10,000 Bitcoin or anything, but I blew enough to where
I don't think I would be sitting here with you right now if you had over 10,000 Bitcoin. I think you'd be on the beach.
No, I'm saying I didn't blow
somewhere.
10,000 Bitcoin.
I'm just
right?
saying if you had
Yeah,
10,000
yeah.
in Bitcoin, I think you'd be retired on the beach in Tahiti somewhere, bro.
No, you keep a job that don't require you to do much and you get paid.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, I'm
and then
trying
let
to
Bitcoin do its
Working
thing.
Nobody's job.
Y'all say that.
Y'all
Yeah.
be like, what happened to Sheridan?
Like,
Everybody-
where did he money
everybody
go?
always
All
wants
her
to say
social
that.
Media deleted. She ain't
You'll
showing
get
up.
bored.
I would just find somebody's casita to live in, and I wouldn't even need. I just want to be by the water.
I read a story about a tech CEO who sold his tech company for $120 million. That's what he did. He retired and spent all his time on the beach in Tahiti. And after about 2 years, he went back to work.
You got
Blew
bored.
it or he got
No,
bored.
no. He just got bored and went
Yeah.
back to work. He felt like he was losing his
different
senses and his
things.
mind and his smarts and all that type of stuff. So he
I
went
feel
back
like
to
you can
work.
still do stuff though without like
I would
I
paint
don't know
every
if
day.
y'all heard when they said that Cardi B
Paint
was
every
like Cardi B was like being rich and having everything is so boring.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like I feel like it can get like that because no matter how much money you have, like I feel like your happiness and I don't know, that's a whole nother
Let me
story.
find out.
People,
Well, hang
people
on.
only
Oh,
say
to
that
that
when they
point.
get there.
To
That's
that
the only
point.
thing.
Elon Musk, Kim Kardashian, and Martha Stewart all said something similar
Yeah.
on TV, and that was, why is everyone so lazy? This and that, this and that. And okay, they all pretty wealthy, but they still work their butt off. And I think that's why they have that perspective, given no, they don't have to work.
Right.
But I think that it is something about, an idle mind.
Yeah.
And
But
they
you can
still,
still I feel like you can still do stuff without necessarily I guess any work can be put in different perspectives. I wouldn't necessarily work as far as like, okay, I'm about to go clock in or I'm about to go do this. I feel like my thing would be more of like, what's my purpose? What do I like doing? I like giving back. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna focus on this project or build this school or that type of
it
thing.
goes back
would
to
be
what
for
Rich
me.
said. It's all,
It's all about
it's,
perspective.
yeah. So I think that for them, it's not work. It's just what they do.
Yep.
But they still not just sitting on the beach.
It's just like one jail inmate can see it as a prison, while one person can see it as rehabilitation.
Right.
It completely can change their life. And the same, like I said, you can look out the window. One person sees the bars, another person sees a beautiful scene.
That's what that book talks about.
It's just about those perspectives at the end of the day. And when you kind of just change those perspectives, not even just in investing, just in life in general. I
Right.
think that and especially because of COVID of recently, I think that's one thing that made people change their perspective is that like you realize that the things that you were doing, and I think that the way that value and money has changed, things like stock market, real estate, a lot of the things that we used to think that weren't in our wheelhouse have kind of been broken down in the fact that we're like, okay, I can invest from home, I can work from home, I can make bands in real estate from just having a call and connecting these two people and it's like now we're starting to realize that everything that we've been taught is fundamentally changing. And for us, like I said, it's just these conversations and people getting into the room and being able to say that, hey, I see that things are changing. What about you?
Right.
It's those kind of things that I think that right now, if
I
you
didn't
can,
know it was gonna go that deep, did you?
Ooh.
yeah, I
So-
think that we're going.
So
Everybody
real quick,
says that they want to retire when they get to a certain level of money, and everybody says they want to be that quiet rich person until they get denied entry into like a lavish establishment.
and
it's
you're
like-
rich.
and it's like, no, I need to get back out here so people know who I am. You know
Right.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So everybody says that, but everybody still has that ego of wanting to be known and be that person and have that
to a certain
access.
To where you walk up to
To
the
a certain
club and they
extent.
like, oh, just let her, everybody get out
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
Let
What's the
them
point of
in.
having the money?
Yeah, because just imagine being worth a couple $1 billion and some stewardess on a plane tells you you can't have an extra drink or something like that. You're like, I'll buy this whole plane right now.
I know that reminds me of the Selena movie where she went to go shopping for a dress for the like Oscars or the Grammys or something, and the lady was like, "I don't think you can afford that dress."
Yeah.
She didn't know the whole time she was about to go to the Grammys. Like, you can definitely buy the store, buy the
Yeah.
dress, and buy you.
Yeah, that's the universe letting you know.
So
go
real
ahead,
quick, so
Plexus.
we're actually going to wrap up part one because Rich, we want to come back part two and really get into. We got into stocks on this part one.
Yeah.
Part two, I really want to dig a little bit deeper on this crypto.
Yeah.
'Cause like I said, I feel like crypto definitely is a little bit more volatile than stocks. Personally, now I'm gonna get you more of opinion because this is what you do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a little bit more deep in here. So we
Yeah.
will be back with part two. Once again, I am your co-host Willis with Ms.
Make sure
Amani,
you like,
Ms. Sharon.
subscribe,
Money sold
comment,
it.
We everywhere. Apple,
all of that.
Spotify, Facebook. You think about it, we
Share.
there. So once again, we will be back with part two. This is the For Real podcast, and we go.